Hello, beautiful people. My name is L.A. Roberts, and I'm coming to you once again with an amazing episode of Conversations with Greatness. And today, I have the amazing opportunity to interview Willie Whitehead Jr. Yes, some of you all may know his name. You probably heard of him before, but I'm just going to tell you just a little bit more about him, and then we're going to jump into this amazing conversation. Mr. Willie Whitehead Jr. is a NFL vet and used to play with the New Orleans Saints. Isn't that right, Mr. Whitehead?
Yeah, sorry. My son is like, okay. How to get my oh yes, that's right.
This is why I love this, right? Because we're in the middle of being at home, you know, getting used to all of the things that happen when you have your whole family in the house, you know, whatever. And I know you have small children, so I'm expecting to hear them call you and things like that. So no worries. This is what this is about. Okay.
Okay.
So you played with the New Orleans Saints. You were a leading defensive end. You're a corporate trainer, an energy healer, a clinical hypnotherapist. You are a celebrity speaker at a lot of places that you go to. You get invited to do things. You are a philanthropist. You're an entrepreneur. What aren't you? Like, you do 1,000,001 different things, and you're about to be an author, and we're going to get more into that a little bit later on. But I want to thank you for being my guest and coming to spend some time with me here. So how are you?
Great. I'm great. Thank you, LA. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Very welcome. So I remember meeting you. We met here in Atlanta at a conference. And I can remember standing next to you, and we were in this big circle. And I had to hold your hand. And I could just remember going, this dude's hands are huge. I didn't know that you were an NFL player. I didn't know that you used to play in the Canadian League. I didn't know any of that. I just knew that I was standing next to this big guy, and I had to hold your hand, and I felt like a toddler. I was like, what does he do? And then you told me, I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Like, but we have been trying to get together for a while now to try to do something, but our schedules and everything have just not have been getting together. So I'm happy that tonight, you know, unfortunately, but fortunately due to COVID, we are both sitting down.
Yes. It's certain times, you know, it's just different, but it's just about making the most of it, of these times. That's really, you really can make the most of these times. It doesn't have to be the worst of times. It can really be some of the best of times. It's just about what you do and how you change your perspective. So.
Yeah. So let me just go into we talked a lot. Well, I introduced you from your professional side, right? So, and you have a lot more credentials. I could not hardly scratch the surface of everything that you have done because you've been doing such amazing things. But one of the things that I like to ask any of my guests is to explain to me who you are, not professionally, but personally, because so many people hang their hat on their titles, but once titles get stripped, then what happens, right? We've seen it all the time. You know, you can be at the top of your game one day and then at the bottom of the game the next, but who are you as a person? So I'm going to start this conversation off with that. Tell me who Willie Whitehead Jr. is personally.
Okay, good question. Who is Willie Whitehead Jr.?
Are you asking me?
No. It's, you know, with a question like that, you know, you have to make sure that I really just really hone in. But I'm first of all, I'm a creator. I'm a father. I'm just a lover of life and, you know, love of people, and just really a giving soul, giving spirit that wants to see, you know, the world and people in a better place, to help people, you know, awaken to who they are. That's who I am. You know, I'm here to help people wake up to their potential. That's it. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
What does that mean when you say help people awaken to who they are? Like, what does that mean? How has that helped you discover who you are? Because it always starts with the seed of, wow, this is who I am. So now I need to help other people realize this, or, you know, your aha moment. So when was your aha moment of going, oh my God, this is me. This is who I am. This is who Willie Whitehead is.
Well, it really started, my journey, that journey started after I was released from the NFL, and abruptly. And I went through like almost a year of like deep depression. And
Okay.
yeah, it was a year
Why
after.
why was that?
Because I was hanging on to my identity. I identified myself as Willie Whitehead Jr., the football player.
Okay.
And I gained the needs that I gained from that was love and attention. So I figured like, okay, I always wanted to gain love and attention. So with that identity being stripped, I didn't know who I was, you know, from that. Like, man, who am I now that I'm not the football player? Because I always hung my hat on that. And I gained so much love and attention from that. But now that that's gone, like, who am I now? You know? And during that time, it was a year after I was married and had a young son, and like the money was drying up. And then the money was just one at a time, son. Just the money was drying up. Money was drying up.
Mm-hmm.
And wife at the time, she, you know, was having, I guess, with her personal business with getting clients. So I was trying to figure it out. And on top of not knowing who I was. So it was one day, I can distinctly remember, we had a small white poodle. And it was her dog. It wasn't my choice. So
okay.
Yeah. So I'm
now
a big
wait. You know you love that poodle. Don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't admit it, but yeah, I love that poodle. Mickey, yeah. So I walk in Mickey, the poodle, through the neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. And at the time, oh man. It was at that time that I was contemplating suicide.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out a way to get into a car accident and make it look like it was an accident, and because I knew the insurance companies wouldn't pay if they figured out it was a suicide. So I was like, so as I'm walking, I'm boosting myself up to do this. I'm literally trying to get the courage up. I gotta do this, because, you know, they'll have the insurance money, they'll be fine, and my life is over with anyway. You know, I don't know who I am now that I'm done. So I might as well end it. I have no purpose now. So I'm walking through, and as I start to get back to the townhouse, and I'm really just like crying. I'm like, man, I gotta figure it. I gotta do this. I gotta do this, you know, so they can get the money, and I can, you know, they'll be fine, you know, like, over for me, you know. So it was at that moment that it was still, you know, just a stillness in the air, and all of a sudden I heard a voice, a calm voice, say, get back to the foundation. I'm gonna do great and mighty things through you. Get the foundation together. I'm going to have men give unto you. And it was still a calm voice, but it was like someone was speaking in my ear.
Oh, I know that voice.
Yeah, it shook me. I was like, whoa. I never heard it so clear. And strong. I'm like, ooh. So when I got home, all that, the suicide thoughts, that went out the window. So I was like, okay, let me get back, get my foundation back rolling, and talk to my people, and get the programs and the things together. And as I delved more and more into that, it got me outside of myself, and that that foundation led into speaking, and it led to me meeting this gentleman who we had gained a spiritual connection. Then he introduced me to my spiritual teacher in LA, in Los Angeles. Okay. And he's very powerful. He's traveled the world. He's worked for years with Deepak Chopra, and he goes around. He goes around and heals people. He healed this guy of brain cancer in one night.
Wow.
I witnessed that, and he told me, said, yeah, Willie, he went back to the doctor and they couldn't find any trace of the cancer. I'm like, who are you? And he showed me some things that just blew my mind. I'm like, is that real? He said, yes, Willie, it's real. He's like, that, he said that, that's why I'm here. That's the purpose. He said, and that's why you're here. He said, you were supposed to get into this when you were playing football, but it was stopped for a particular reason, but that's who you are. And that's the reason why you're here, is to learn more about that. And he said, I'm going to teach you. I'm like, what? I'm like, is this real? Is this a dream or something? He said, no, this is your purpose. This is part of the reason why you're here. So he's taught me a whole lot, and he does spontaneous healing. He's not, with Reiki and pranic, but I learned Reiki, so I'm a Reiki master, but I do the same thing, spontaneous healing. I can feel it, hands-on healing. I can actually feel it in my hands. I do distant healing as well, but I actually feel the energy in my hand as I move it across the person's body, and the different areas where there's heavy energy, there's an issue, and put it there until it clears. So I know for a lot of people it's kind of different, but it works. It's real. It's real, because everything energy. We're all, the scientists and everybody, they've proved it, that everything is made up of energy. And so when you do that work, you get to the core of the issue, the real core, because it starts in the energy field of the person before it becomes a disease in the body. Matter of fact, I'm working with a lady right now that has breast cancer, and she's had for years. She's like, I don't know how I got breast cancer. I don't have any problem. I've never had problems with anything. I've had it in my family, but not problems. But now I just found out I got it. But then it hit me intuitively that she was having issues. She was holding on to a lot of grief, so anger. And so I told her, I said, well, a lot of times that energy will build up and build up and build up until it becomes a tumor in your body. It becomes that disease in your body, because it starts off in your energy field. That's why it's important to not be, stay stressed. That's why it's important to get rid of grief and anger and, anything that you have towards anybody. You hold on to it, then it doesn't hurt anybody but you. It only hurts you, because it doesn't hurt the other person, right? It hurts you because it hurts the energy that's in your body.
So let me ask you this. So in the conversation, you mentioned that you were told that this was supposed to happen while you were playing football, professional football. Yes. And that was very interesting to me, because I feel as if, I know that we all have a purpose, and we can choose a path, and that path can be good for a while. And then I personally believe when God got something for you, it don't really matter what you're doing and how you're doing it. When he say it's over, there is really nothing that you can do to stop it, you just have to flow with it. And I think a lot of the times why people have such a hard time with it is because they're so stuck on it. You said something else about having your identity lie in being a football player, right? there's so many people that have their identity in being a singer or, a dancer or whatever type of entertainer they may be, that if that happens to be stripped away from them, then they don't know who they are anymore. And that conversation of suicide normally is what takes place because they feel like they're nobody without it, So I want to commend you for even sharing that, because a lot of the times that's hard. And I think that was one of the conversations that we had, one of the first conversations that we had, because a couple of weeks before that, I lost my best friend to suicide. And I was devastated because we talked all the time. And I never would have known that he got to that point. And so the people that are left behind are left with a grief because they feel as if they should have done something else, or maybe if I would have said something else, or maybe if I would have known more. But I had to realize that he wasn't my assignment. Like, he was not my assignment. And so that's when I started into my King's Conversations and my, and my trying to understand how to listen more to people when they're hurting and when they're in, turmoil, because that's all they really need. So let me ask you, how does that make you feel to know that, and really, that God chose you to do something so amazing and so special, and you heard him, like you heard him speak? Like, I know how that feels. A lot of people will be like, no, it's like that moment that you go, I know I heard that.
Yeah.
But it also brings you a peace. So how do you feel knowing that God chose you to go from one place to another in such an amazing way? Because some people will curse that experience. Like, I can't believe I was that low. I can't believe I almost decided to do this. And why would God choose me to do this? But it's really so that you can help other people. So how does that make you feel?
It makes you feel great. I mean, I'm honored. But then the other part to it too is that it comes with responsibility.
And
And that's one of the main things that my teacher taught me. It comes with great responsibility. So it was scary at first, but then I've come to to really understand it. Just be really careful. But that's one of the main things. But I mean, it's great. I mean, it's great to help people. And what I realized too, LA, is that Spirit was leading me all along, because even when I was playing ball, I would have experiences. Like, someone would come up to me when I had a bad game, like every now and then, and say, Willie, it's bigger than football. I'm like, what? Just some random person. Like, what? I met one guy after the Miami exhibition game, and he, little short Italian guy, he came up to me. He looked at me, his eyes big. I'm like, what's wrong with this dude? Is he weird? And it's like, you have a grand a royal anointing on your life. He's just staring at me.
You like, security.
Yeah. I'm like, little Italian dude, what are you talking about? Like, get away from me,
Right.
But and he was like, if he gave me his card, he was a prophet. It's like, if you need more information, give me a call. But yes, it's greater than football for you. You have great work to do. I'm like, oh, okay, I got you. All right. So
you like,
right.
Nice to meet you, sir. Somebody. Yeah.
Exactly. So, just been different experiences to seeing things. It's just like, what is that? But yeah, just different experiences that I realized that Spirit has really been helping me and guiding me through this process when I didn't realize it.
Yeah, and what's crazy? They always say you can be entertaining angels unknown. Like, you can really be entertaining. You can be entertaining someone, or God will send a message through someone, and it confuses you. Like you. I'll never forget. I was in a Walmart. I was much younger than that. I'm not going to tell you that, because then you'll start doing like math and things. I was in a Walmart and happened to be with a family member. She was really, really depressed. And in the Walmart, there was a, the women's section, and then you have to go all the way to the other side to go to like the toiletries and things like that, whatever. It's always just so far away. Anyway, so I was encouraging her in the women's section of Walmart, right? And she walked off to go to the toiletries, and I had to catch up with her. And I was walking behind her. I wasn't even talking to her anymore. And this it might have been the same dude, I don't know. He was a little guy, a little older guy, came out of the aisle. He just came out of the aisle. He looked at me with this glazed look over his face. And he said, "You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work." He shook his head a little bit, and it was like he had never seen me.
Wow.
His wife came out the aisle right after that, and they were a little old couple, and she was like, "Are you ready to go?" And he was like, "Yeah." And it was like he never saw me. But that encouragement that came from him, I was like, thank you, God. Like, I needed that at that moment, because she was so depressed, and I didn't know if I was helping. I didn't know if what I was doing was good enough. I didn't know if I was making an impact. But God will do that. He will send people in your path just to let you know that you're doing a good job. But people have to recognize it, and you didn't recognize it at the time, but hindsight,
Yeah.
that hindsight is 2020, right? Hindsight, you're like, oh God, that's what that was. Oh my goodness. And so now you're looking. You got something for me? What you want to say?
I'm like, right.
Right. God, where are you? What'd you say? I can't hear you. Because you yearn for it now, more. You desire it more. So I guess that would be one of your greatest accomplishments. That's my next question. What is one of the greatest accomplishments in your life? Like, what would you say was the greatest accomplishment? And what was some roadblocks?
Some roadblocks. I'll start with the roadblocks. I think some of the biggest roadblocks for me were in my life would be trusting too much and really settling and I know, like I was taught, sympathy over empathy. And what that means is, what that means is, you feel what the person is going through is the empathy, but sympathy is feeling like you have to, go in and help, or go in and rescue that person. You gotta, but then you put yourself in compromising positions. And so I think that those were the biggest roadblocks for me, were really just trusting too much, and I trusted the wrong people. I was sympathetic to the wrong people, and so I learned a valuable lesson in that you have to have your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You still can stay in love and stay in expansion, but you don't have to. You can give just like give them to God, and like, okay, well, you do your thing, have a good life. I'm not, I hope the best for you, but I got to keep moving. I'm not supposed to get that deep, get involved with you like that. I'm just getting this business transaction with you, but I wish you the best, and let me move on. Even when I knew that this isn't right, even relationships, I knew that something's not right about this. My spirit was telling me, but trying to go in and like, oh, okay, well, let me overlook that because of what they have going on, or what they look like, or they can really, she'll be fine, da 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 da.
Mm-hmm. And you find out she a nut.
A nut, Oh Lord, ooh, I learned some valuable lessons. I'm like, nah, hey.
Listen, you know what? I think that that's so funny, because our flesh will have us doing the craziest things. Only if we would sit down and just really go, okay, is this right? Because in the long run, you don't need the heartache. In the long run, it's just not worth it. And then we're the ones that's on the other side of it going, I knew better. Because we did. You know, like, I knew I shouldn't have dated him, but you did. You know, in your case, her, but you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did. And yeah. Trust me, I have sat down and went, now, I don't know why I went to dinner with him.
You felt something wasn't, it's something not right about this dude, but, hey.
In between the appetizer and the main course, something just wasn't rocking. But I stayed for that dessert, let me tell you. Okay? Listen, I'm here.
Hey, you're here. You survived.
I'm here now. I might as well, finish it out. Now, let me tell you, okay, so this is funny because I actually just had a King's conversation. I have to invite you in next time. We did it virtually. We did it virtually. The brothers that did the first one with me. We got the team back together and we had a very interesting conversation about relationships. And I actually got more questions that came in, after the fact, because they were like, oh, I didn't know I could send in questions. Yes, you did. I had it posted. But what one of the questions is, I'm going to ask you this because it's very interesting. Why do you think men waste so much time on a woman that's not wife material? And they know that. Like, they know I'm not going to marry her. Like, I'm really not going to marry her. I know where the good girl is. I'm going to marry her. I'm going to mess with her. Why do men do that? Well, I'm going to marry the other girl. Like, I'm going to marry the one that's a good girl. But I'm going to keep messing with this one over here. I'm not going to marry her, though. Why do men do that? That was actually a question that came in after.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a great question. And it's different reasons. I know one of the most common ones that I've come across and I've experienced is a need to be needed. Just that whole, I need you. I can't, I gotta have you and I gotta this and that. And, I need this paid. I gotta get this situation, And then just the convenience of it, they're willing to, they get caught up in the trap of the women willing to do, like a lot of things, just be so convenient for them and do some things that maybe the good girl won't do, or just have that need to feel like they have to have, they get caught up in, they having to provide for their needs. So it's, that's one of the most common, but it's different variables. But I know that one was one of the main things. But convenience can be bad. Convenience can kill you, like literally. Like, no.
Convenience can kill you, and it can also make you lose a good thing. Because it's just not worth it. I actually had a conversation with a guy friend of mine the other day, and I had to ask him the question, and because he called me because him and his girlfriend, which I absolutely love, right? I love her. She's beautiful. She's sweet. She's compassionate. She's all of that. And he calls me like, I don't know what to do because this other chick keeps, banging down his door. And I'm like, is it worth it? Like, that's the question. Is it worth it? Is it worth losing the girl that the woman that is going to have your back, that is going to love you, for the girl that's going to use you?
Exactly. And then what a lot of guys don't even realize is they're aware of is the sexual energy. Talking about that, guys can get really entangled. And there's such thing as sex magic. Like, they can really get entangled.
It's a soul tie.
Yeah, it's that soul tie. It's like cords they get, attached to. And it's even worse for the women than it is to the men because with women, you hold a lot more of that energy in. So it's a lot more to get rid of that energy that you're attached to a certain guy, with. It's like
that's because women take, we receive, you all give.
Yes.
So, women, I'm old fashioned. That's just who I am. I don't understand women that allow a lot of men to give.
Yeah.
I just don't, because I know that the heart is tied up in that, like the heart is tied up in that. And it's just not worth it. It's not, it's just really not worth it.
Yeah, and then they don't understand why they're confused. They can't concentrate, but they have so many different energies that's inside of their body. They don't realize it. That's affecting them.
You better say that, Mr. Whitehead.
And for the guys too, they're like, man, I don't know what's going on with me. Why I feel so down? Why I can't focus? You got that woman's energy. You're connected to her energy now. It's on you. It's in you. Right?
And if she crazy,
yeah.
You crazy too.
You crazy too. Like, oh man, I don't know what's going on. You can't understand it. Yeah. It's real though. People take it for granted. It is real.
That thing is so real. And that's so funny because I don't even know how we got here, but I love the fact that we did, because it's funny. This is ladies and gentlemen, this is what Conversations with Greatness is. It's supposed to just be a conversation where you just randomly talk about whatever comes up, and it's so cool because I love it. But you did not tell me what's your greatest accomplishment, one of your greatest accomplishments in your life. Tell me what that was.
Oh, it's kind of say having my sons was it, will be it. And then when I was able to give a lot of land to some friends of mine, to be able to bless them, it gave me such a tremendous feeling, better than anything I accomplished playing ball. And I surprised them. It was a family, husband and wife and daughters. And I said, like, come meet me on, this plot of land that I got. I'm looking to sell it, and maybe, you can, maybe we can work something out or whatever. And so they came. I said, yeah, Willie, I don't know, like how much is it, man? We gotta try to figure something out. We strapped for money, I said, it's yours. They're like, what? I said, it's yours. I said, this plot of land that you're sitting on, that you're standing on in this subdivision, it's yours. It's all yours. It's all paid for. It's yours. And he turned around, with the macho, the man. He turned around and walked away and everything. He wanted to see the crowd. And she was jumping up and down. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, no. That scared running and everything. Oh, really, thank you so much. And the two daughters, they were jumping. And I was just like, oh, my God. I felt so exhilarated and just joyous and happy in my life. Oh, my God, this is amazing. Outside of having my sons, man, that was what the tremendous experience.
Yeah.
Just being able to bless somebody like that. I'm like, oh my God, that's what giving and helping somebody is all about. I love this,
Yeah. It does something for you. I know that I have so many dreams and aspirations just to be able to do things like that. And not to do them so people can acknowledge me. I never want to do it in that way. Like, I don't have to be on TV to do it. I don't have to have anything like that. I just love to give, and I want more so that I can give more. And it's just something about being the hands and feet of Christ. You just give, and see that particular, that happiness, that pride. And it doesn't have to be anything really big. I actually like to do, I've done this so many times, and people are like, oh my God, thank you so much. I swipe my card at grocery stores for people.
Oh, wow.
Just like, or if I'm behind somebody and I'm feeling like, but I listen though, because it's always not random. I try to, I listen and I hear and I'm like, God, what do you want me to do? And when I'm led to do that, I don't know why they need it. I don't know, what's going on with them, but I don't have to know because God knows. And that just makes me happy. So one day I might just give away some land like Mr. White.
Oh yeah, we're claiming that. That's amazing though, LA. Yeah, that's definitely amazing. Man, yeah.
I love that. I love it. And I cried. Listen, spoiler alert. I watched Ellen's holiday giveaways or something like that. She had a show about, it's like I don't know how many episodes it was, but she was giving away like houses, cars. I promise you, I cried like a baby. And it wasn't because I just cried like a big old baby and I prayed, Lord, let me do it. I just want to do it. Like, please tell me what to do. Because it's just in my heart to do, like I really want to be in that position. So prayerfully within the next, I don't know, I don't know how long it's going to take, but one day, people, listen to me, hear me clearly, be giving away a whole bunch of stuff. So you better stick with me because you never know, it might be you. I'm just saying.
It won't be long.
Oh. I received that, sir.
That's right.
I received that. All right. Tell me, this is going to be good. What was the hardest crowd you ever had to face?
That's kind of like a two-part answer. I would say, in my football career, it would be the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. The Eagles
you talking about their fans?
Yeah, as far as the crowd, the toughest crowd. Yeah, that I faced being in front of was that. My speaking career, it would be some middle school kids.
They ruthless, ain't they?
Trying to keep them it was at a, like an inner city school and just trying to keep them engaged. And, I was trying to do some fun stuff and everything. And they were just like, they just like all, focus on other things and all that. I'm like, oh my God, man, this is tough. Yeah.
You know what? They ruthless.
Yeah, they ruthless now. So yeah, they can be.
Children are ruthless. But you know what's crazy about that? We think we have to do so much when it comes to children. I've been in the front of classrooms with children of all ages. And we think we have to do so much, but really all they want you to do is listen. Right? All they want you to do is talk to them regular. You know what I don't like? When people talk to kids like this. Oh, my little baby, my little child, why are you talking to them like that? Don't do that.
No.
Talk to them. And this is why, because I'm waving my lip gloss at you. I'm sorry. This is why. And I heard a parent say it. And at first I was like, well, they're babies, at first. And she said, well, do you want them to learn to speak back to you that way?
Yeah, that's a great point.
And I said, well, of course not. So what I learned, and I learned this, earlier on, just with me, teaching very little children, very, very little children, all the way up until college age. Like I would go into a couple of colleges when I was in Augusta to do sessions, right? Like, I was the college minister and I would sit down and I would talk to them. But what I learned about the smaller group is they just want you to talk to them. And sometimes they just want to be heard because unfortunately, a lot of the kids, they're not heard at home or respected or loved. There's so many kids that we, that are under the radar. And it breaks my heart because people don't take the time. And when this pandemic came in, one of the things that I hated hearing was people complain about having their children at home. And I would go, where they're yours.
Exactly.
And why? But after talking to some parents and things like that, getting some phone calls from people, I understood it's because people have not taken the time to know their children, to talk to their children, to be around their children. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely makes sense.
So those middle school kids, that was hard. They're like, now what were you doing? You was trying to play games with them?
No. I came off, just trying to talk to them and, trying to teach them things. But then I tried to really be, animated and
like,
tried to really get their attention. And they still were just like, yeah.
So,
oh man, what I gotta dance, I gotta do something.
You better
yeah.
Better get it together.
Yeah.
So how did that end up panning out for you? Did it end up good?
Yeah, it ended up okay. It wasn't one of the best, but I survived.
This is the bigger question. Are you going back?
Oh, going back? No, I don't know if I'll be back over there. I think that's what it does.
You was like, no, it ended good, but I will not be making that another thing that I do.
No.
So you mentioned
that school. No, I don't know about that school.
You not that one?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, that was a rough deal there. I don't know.
Oh. He said, no, sir. That's okay. I'm not doing it no more. They're going to call you tomorrow. Watch. That's right.
I know, right?
So right here, we were wondering if you'd be able to do a Zoom with the children.
Right.
If that happens, please call me. You have my number. Please call me.
All right.
Text me and be like, yo, guess what happened? I'm going to laugh really hard. So you mentioned something a little earlier on in the conversation about the Willie Whitehead Foundation. I want to know more about that, how it got started. Well, I know how it got started because, you were stopped from doing something that at the time you felt like was the best thing, which just a little caveat here. If there's anyone that is watching right now, all seriousness, all playfulness aside, that feel as if, you have reached the end of your rope, you don't feel like you have anything else to offer, your family would be better off without you, or all of the negativity that goes on in your mind, please know that that is not true. It's not true. You are loved, if only by one person. And if it's not by one person, it is by God, and you are here for a reason. So just know that there is an after this. Just like when Mr. Whitehead, when he explained, he was crying, he was devastated and trying to figure out a way to do it. Once he got still enough, he was told he had more. And I believe that if you get still enough, you'll be told the same thing. You have more. Please do not give up. So I just had to say that because those are things that I wish I was able to say to my best friend, Mr. Al Towns, which I love every day and miss even more every day. That there is more after this, but I can't tell him, so I wanted to tell someone there. So
that's great, LA, yeah. And that's the thing, because it's all about meaning. People have attached different meanings to different things in their life. It's like we have different models of the world of how we see our life is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to, be married with these 3 kids by this time. Or I'm supposed to, even though I have these accomplishments, I'm supposed to have the love of my mother. My mother never gave me that love, but now I'm accomplished. My mother and my father's supposed to love me now, but they don't love me. They're not around. Like, I still can't get that. So they allow that to still, play in their mind. And when they they can't get that meaning, then it feels like they don't, you know, that it's their life is not fulfilling. They don't have a full purpose for their life, and that's what causes, you know, a number of people to, you know, to commit suicide and get into depression.
Yeah, because they're searching for something. They're looking for validation.
Yes.
They're looking for something is missing, but they don't realize that it's not missing. You just feel like it is.
Exactly.
The love that you desire is there. It may not come in the way that you desired it to come, but it is there, and it can and will be presented in another way. But we have to be open for that. You know, so many people close themselves off to the possibility of love because of a hurt that they experienced when they were a child. You know, there's a fear that builds up in them, and they can be missing out on amazing things. But my prayer is always that those walls fall and they just crumble and they never return. You know, it's like it got hit by one of those big old construction balls. What's what is it? The demolition ball?
Yeah.
Right? And there's no way you can get all the pieces back together. That is normally that's my prayer for a lot of people. I've heard so many people say that they wish they could do something, or they wish they were loved, or they wish they had, and they don't know. They build this wall and they don't know how to receive it.
Right.
When it does present itself.
Right. Elaine, that was the reason why I became got into hypnotherapy, became a clinical hypnotherapist, certified, and then mindfulness too, was because of wanting to help people to get over. Because I always said, so why do people hang on to that? Because that was something that I hung on to. But then realizing that work helps people to change their perception. There's a part on that, you know, part of it that's called regression therapy that helps people to overcome the traumas, even traumas that they dealt with as a child. But it changes. It's a process that changes the way they see the situation. So it's not, you know, it's all about the perception of the, you know, the holding on to that meaning that is the problem, that the things that's affecting the person. It's not the event itself, it's the meaning attached to the event. So when they can change the meaning of it, when they can change the perception to where, you know, he did this to me because his father did it to him. Mm-hmm. It wasn't you. It wasn't about you. It was because he did what was done to him. So, you know, you don't have to hold on to that anymore. You can let it go, and you can be loved. So then we go through the process of reconditioning the mind through the hypnotherapy.
Is somebody screaming?
Oh, that's the TV. I'm sorry.
I'm like,
I told y'all to turn the TV off.
Look, I'm like, are we just gonna talk over the screams? I need to know.
Turn the TV down, son. I'm sorry. But
I got concerned for a moment. I was like, he's talking real good, but somebody is screaming in his house.
Right.
I don't know whether to call 911 or just to ask.
Tell them to turn the TV off. They do the back opposite. Turn the TV off, son. Go find the remote. You turned it on, so find a remote to turn it off.
And this, people, is what happens. Yes, this is what happens. This is what happens. And you know what's crazy? Like, I've had all types of, like, I'm freezing now. I have all types of, like, things that happen during this time, during interviews. I'm freezing, I'm going slow, I'm doing all types of stuff. So, hey, let's just keep it going.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just glad that it wasn't somebody was seriously in trouble. Like, my antennas went up, like somebody was screaming.
Oh, yeah, no. You got the TV going.
Okay. But that was good. To get back to what you were saying about the perspective. I think that, because I work with a lot of people as well, and that's normally in my Sister Sweet Talks, I sit down with a group of women and I do laser coaching for all of them. And normally when it comes out, it's something so deep that they blame themselves for.
Yes.
You know, and it's really not about them. And I am freezing. There I go. All right, I think I'm back. Screaming, freezing, we get it all in here. But you know, it's hard to tell someone. It's hard for someone to receive that it's not about you, right? Like, you know, well, he hurt me. Well, that's because he was hurt. Yes, but he hurt me. You know what I mean? Like, but now I'm hurt. And a lot of people don't understand how to do that. But I'm glad you're doing that work with people, because once they can remove themselves and look at it from a different perspective, then it kind of it shines light, and then the situation no longer has the power over them. And then they can grow past that. I've worked with a lot of people that have had absolutely horrible things happen to them. And I just to sit there and listen, sit there and really listen to how it made them feel, because it's really about their feelings. And like you said, the body holds stuff. And so if they're not able to, get it out in a healthy way, then it turns into destructive behaviors. It turns into, sexual behaviors. It turns into suicidal, thoughts. It turns into cutting yourself. It turns, alcohol, drugs, all of those type of things, because people are trying to numb the pains that they were not able to express.
Right. And for some people, they end up attracting similar situations to that over and over and over again. So in some situations, it becomes layered. Yeah. So.
And we can talk about this all night, because this is my thing. This is my thing. I got a whole book called The Root Cause.
Oh, wow. I can't wait. Yeah.
Listen, I got a whole book out there. I got a whole book, because it is about the roots. You can't heal unless you get to the root.
Yes, exactly. You
cannot heal. Speaking of books. Oh, you thought I forgot. Hi, Cipher.
Oh yeah. My book. I'm in the process of finishing it up. But it's called Big Spirit, Small Spaces, and it's really about. I have to give the analogy of when you're a kid and you're playing with blocks, right? And you have a star block, and you're trying to fit it in a square space, and you keep trying to fit it in that space no matter what, knowing that
it can't fit.
It can't fit. And a lot of times we do that in our lives. We're stars trying to fit in different situations and with people that we're not meant to be with, that we're not meant to be in. But because of what we've been told, conditioned to believe, society, all these different things, we still settle, and we still feel like, I have to be this person, I have to be with this person, so I won't feel alone and lonely. I have to have this certain career because mom or dad always told me that I needed to have this career. But this is not who I am, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a perfect time right now, because I think a lot of people are going through transformative experiences because they're forced to face their issues. They're forced to face, those things that they repressed. And yeah.
So wait, I call COVID-19 a beautiful disaster. Okay, it's terrible. I know people that have passed away from it. That's broken my heart, just from all of it, because everything happened so fast. I know that people are out of their jobs. I know that people are, really having a hard time right now. And I'm not negating any of that. And the reason why I call it a beautiful disaster is because people are forced to face now. You know, not so much now because, you know, here in Atlanta where we live, they out now. They not I, but they are.
Yeah, and that's another lesson in itself. You know, just learning.
Oh Lord, what happened to the baby?
Y'all stop it! I'm sorry. Oh God, just learning to just learning to be disciplined. You know, it's just like, can you go without doing everything that you've always done? You know, just having to be inconvenienced. It's like people have a hard time being inconvenienced. It's like, you know, yeah.
But it goes back to what you said earlier when we talked about those titles. So if I am this, and this is what I am, you know, associated with, and I can't do it anymore in front of a crowd, or I can't be in a room, you know, with people, then what am I now? Like, I don't have the glitz and the glamour or whatever. People are struggling. There were so many people that were fighting to get back out. And I'm like, wait, this can kill you.
Right, this can kill you, exactly.
But they were fighting so hard, but I realized that it's because they didn't want to be in the house, because in the house, then all the ugly, all that stuff will come up and it will come out, and they do not know how to handle those particular things. You know, so being in a stay-at-home order is hell for people.
Yeah.
Can be hell for a lot of people because they don't want to, but they're missing out on not doing the work.
Right, because that's like the greatest gift. It allows them to go to a higher level, and they don't know with them doing the work how much greater they're gonna come out. You know, showing up as, you know, like even on a grander scale is with the glitz and the glamour, but in a whole new way. You know, they'll be able to accomplish things that they never dreamed that they can accomplish. But they have to do the work, you know?
Yeah. But, you got to do the work. You got to do the work. So I'm just now realizing I jumped into a conversation about suicide. I did not allow you, and my apologies, to continue to tell me about the Willie Whitehead Foundation. I do want people to know about that. So please tell me.
Okay, well, really, our slogan is live, learn, lead, and believe. Is a live on purpose, lead by example, learn new things, and believe in yourself. And it's really just a mentoring mentoring. We do a lot of mentoring, financial literacy, STEM programs, but it's really about getting the kids to really just see life, see, who they are in a whole new way, just really to raise up, how they see their life and their situation. A lot of these kids we work with, they're in dysfunctional homes, and it's not always disadvantaged. It's kids that are having issues,
Yeah.
To get them to see things a new way. And we're going to be introducing mindfulness as well, with the kids, because it's a tremendous benefit to get kids to be quiet, to just sit still for a minute, put down the phone, get from in front of the TV and YouTube and the other apps, and just sit still for a minute. TikTok.
You can't get adults to do that.
No, they TikTok crazy. Yeah, no. Yeah.
I don't really know nothing about TikTok. I had a friend of mine. He's a international artist. He's amazing. He actually had someone on TikTok, and I just learned really what TikTok really is because I'm not on it. They lip synced his song. Hit the whole family.
Wow.
Now, I found out that that's what they do on TikTok. But the crazy thing about this particular situation is the fact that they put original song. Wow. That wasn't you, right? So, TikToking, these adults, they had everybody involved. The grandma too, honey. So these are adults. So not just the babies. You might need to expand the Willie Whitehead Foundation and go grab some of these adults and
But
these
those,
seasoned saints.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't see them as bad, you know, like avenues or, you know, bad tools. But it's just when you overuse them and you don't take time to go within, to take time just to get quiet within your own thoughts. You're just controlled by social media, you know, and you're living from that. And you don't even know what you want or your own thoughts because you're so caught up and wanting to be the next star, you know. Well, what somebody else is doing.
And that's where they find validation.
Mm-hmm.
Me and a previous guest, Matt Gill, was talking about that picture that you put up. And if you look at your Facebook and you don't have at least, you know, however many likes you're going for, you're thinking that something is wrong with you that day, or, oh God, you know, like I should have put up something else, or maybe I should have wore this, or maybe this pose, you know, because you're trying to get the approval of other people. And social media has definitely done that for a lot of people. It has scrambled them up, adults and kids alike.
Yeah, it's true. And some people, they're just trying to they're living vicariously through other people, you know. Stars are like, oh wow, you know, and what about you? What about your dreams? What about, you know, what you want, you know? So
yeah, because you're important too. And it's not about the followers. It's not about your likes. It's not about the numbers. It's just not about that. Everybody gets caught up in it every once in a while, right? Like everybody's like, oh God. But once you start to settle, I know the older I get, I pray and ask God, well, what is it that you want me to do? Because there are a lot of people, there are a lot of millionaires and billionaires, and we don't even know their names.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I will do that.
Exactly.
You don't even have to know me. Like, I enjoy speaking, of course, and being, that's one of my things. I absolutely love speaking, right? I love to speak. I love to encourage. I love to motivate. I love to do that. But let me go ahead and tell you, becoming a millionaire is something that I will do. But if only so many people know my name and I'm still a millionaire, and I can go to Walmart and get my smoothie mix, you know, my frozen fruits and vegetables and, you know, whatever, or my fresh fruits and vegetables without being hounded.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Right. Because a lot of people out, you know, on social media faking it, you know, looking like millionaires, but they're broke. You know.
Look, you treading.
Hey.
That's the truth, though.
That's
it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. They are pretending. They are just being something that they think other people will accept because they have not accepted themselves. This whole overarching conversation has been about, you know, really accepting yourself, not allowing other people to manipulate you. We touched on just even the sexual activity, letting people come in or you giving out. That is not, you know, you're supposed to know you. If you know you, then you won't, that stuff won't even, you'll be able to recognize it. Like, I'm tripping, something is not right. This is not something that I need to be doing, and you pull yourself out of it. It's all about knowing you and not trying to really be anybody else in the interim.
Exactly. It's hit on the head, LA. It's about that's authentic experiences, you know. That's what life is all about. You know, at the end of the day, it's authentic experiences.
Yeah. Authenticity is the best place to be. So, before we wrap up, tell the viewers what's coming up for you, what's next for Willie Whitehead Jr.
Well, I have some online courses that I'm working in the process of working on. The book, Experience Small Spaces, be coming out. And That's it. Just really working, you know, I have my, you know, practice available with working on helping people, you know, with the hypnotherapy, with the energy healing. I have 2 clients I'm working with right now with the energy healing. And so doing some distant healing with them, and they're seeing results. So that's pretty much it for me. Just want to encourage, you know, people as much as possible, and help them to you know, just to raise their level of consciousness, of awareness,
Yeah.
of potentiality. You know, they can do, be, and have more.
That sounds amazing. I want to thank you for spending some time with me. We talk, right? But we never get to really, you know, talk, you know. But I thank you for being a guest with me here on Conversations with Greatness. We will have to do something else together. I might have to bring you into my King's conversation with the fellas. And, you know, we don't know how long this thing is going to last or how it's going to go or whatever. And we just need to make sure that we all stay safe. But I will be using you again, sir. We've been friends for the last couple of years now, and so I'm going to keep you.
All right, sounds like. I definitely love that, LA. Thank you. I definitely want to commend you for everything that you're doing. Doing tremendous work. So definitely keep it up, and I look forward to even more. So I'm on board.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Have a wonderful evening.